Hello, and welcome aboard to this episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to following the entire story of One Piece from beginning to end as we focus on each volume. We keep the discussion spoiler-free for new fans of the series, so this is the perfect place to follow along, whether you're new to the series or just want to revisit the world of One Piece with us. This week, we will be covering the first part of Volume 67, Cool Fight, which covers chapters 657 through 662. My name is Joel, and I'll be your host. Joining me today, we have Sean.
This is Sean.
We have Evan.
What's up?
We have Cody.
I'm so ready. I am so ready.
And we have a new face. We have Mike.
Nobody's excited for the big day as I am.
Yeah, so we have a guest today. I've invited Mike to join the podcast. Mike is one of my buddies from playing the One Piece card game. And he is also one of the co-creators of the JoyBoysTCG YouTube channel. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about your channel, what you guys do there?
Yeah, so we're on JoyBoysTCG. We talk about all things the One Piece card game. We do card reviews, we do deck guides, and we do a lot of content that's around our experience playing the game and like lots of fun ways to experience it with your friends. Very like casual, good entry points for starting, but also like community based. A lot of stuff that's showing off our local community and our online community as well.
Yeah, you guys do some like awesome stuff there. Like you've also like created like your own like fan formats. You run like tournaments that are like off meta.
Yes,
Yeah,
which I gotta talk to you about the next one. We have the next one coming up. I need you back.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a lot of fun the first time we did that. So yeah, and then you guys also like cover like competitive level stuff. You have like casual things like starter decks and upgrading starter decks and talking about like the meta and the tier list. So you guys like have a whole bunch of content over there, and you guys are doing awesome stuff over there. So
we're relatively often called the command zone of One Piece, and we take that with a lot of pride. So yeah.
Yeah, so you and Luke both do an awesome job there. So I'm happy to have you on the podcast here today. So.
Dude, I'm super happy. I love hanging out with you, so I'm super happy to be here.
Yeah. So I think we'll have
a Cody guy though. I can't believe he showed up. Hey Poindexter, why don't you run the numbers on how much I'm going to like this chapter? What's the match win percentage that I read a page and I enjoy it?
5,000% approval for Trafalgar.
Yeah, well, we get a little nerdy on the podcast too. So Cody's still welcome. We invite him every week as well.
The problem is he says such nerdy shit, but he looks like a fucking hunk. That's the real problem, right? You can't say the nerdiest shit ever and they have a bicep that makes me want to go.
Just come to the gym with me. We'll run the numbers.
I'm working on it. I got Crunch Fitness that starts tomorrow. So
let's go, brother.
Crunch numbers like Crunch Fitness. Let's go.
Let's go. No free ads. No free ads. Bleep that. No free ads.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Enter gym name
Sponsored
here.
by nondescript green soda. Get your nondescript green soda wherever Frankie is found.
Yeah, so since this is Mike's first time on the podcast, how about you tell us a little bit about your personal experience with One Piece? Like, how did you get into the series?
Ooh, good question. Can I get real? Because I need to get real if I'm going to really talk about it. So I definitely like watched it a bit as a kid, as we all did on 4Kids. Sanji's wigging that lollipop around everywhere. And then I have one vivid memory of watching Toonami, OG Toonami, at my cousin's during... it had to be Alabasta, where they're like on like the sand ship. It's like one of the filler episodes. It's like the ship that runs through the sands of Alabasta. I vividly remember watching that episode, and then that's really like it. But I remember seeing my first ever love, which is Porcus Diaz in that episode, which was everything. But it really wasn't until much later that I got into One Piece. It was, God, I remember sometime I was in high school. Toonami was back. Hashtag Tommy's back, bitches. Don't forget that banger track. And I was in, don't cry. I was in a really bad place in my life at the time. And I was spending, nights up late as you do when you're depressed. You're awake late at night and Toonami's on. And it's in the arc of Water 7 Eni's Lobby. And it's the front half of Eni's Lobby when they get there. Of the entire Robin backstory. And something about that backstory really connected with me. And I'm tearing up now thinking about it. I cannot think of Jaeger D. Saul and not cry my eyes out. Something about the specific line, no one's born into this world to be alone. Go to the sea, there are friends you'll find out there. Really helped resonate with me. Fuck.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yes.
And yes, I did cry like this in front of Nico Robin's voice actor when I met her. Yes, I did.
Yes.
Unfortunately, as a 26-year-old, 7-year-old man. And yeah, from that point on, I was in. I was so hooked. I went back and restarted the whole thing and
Nice.
never looked back.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like One Piece is such like a personal journey for everybody. There's like something that I feel everybody is going to get something out of it. What you like get the most out of it might vary from person to person, but I do think there's like just certain parts of it that just really resonate with people, and that is one of the most powerful moments in the entire series. But I've been rewatching the series with my fiance Courtney, and we actually just finished Alabasta. And well, we got to the part where Nico Robin joins the crew, and right now she does not have a positive reaction to Nico Robin, and I think it's justified. But it's really fun to see her go through the series for the first time, and like she's like she was familiar with the character Nico Robin, but doesn't really know her deal.
Mm-hmm.
And like just right now, like she's in a place where she's like, I don't like her. Like, I don't want her to join the crew. Like she would like Vivi, but like yeah, just
it's
like.
Sorry, it's so interesting to me because like I just skipped that. Like I saw the best Robin arc, and then I went back, right? So like, I don't know what it would have been like if I watched it like the right way, you know? If I had like went through like, because I agree, rewatching it the first time and the second time when I rewatched with my girlfriend, it's like, yeah, she fucking sucks, and she doesn't do anything. It's like both, right? Like people will be like, oh, Robin's overrated, and that's because she's you know. She ain't fighting, and all they're just fight perverts, you know, like the bait perverts. All they want to see is a fist get thrown, but they don't understand that she is like the third, easily top 3, if not the best, like story told, depthful character in the show. Not even close. Like is some of the best. Like anyone that says that Robin is not top 3 characters in the show thinks solo leveling is peak. Like that's just what it is, you know. That's just what it is.
Yeah. So I mean, Robin is like my second favorite character in the series behind Luffy. But I also think she has probably the most interesting story like in the entire series. So yeah, it's just I think she's just like a really important character, and I enjoy her in particular. But we all fans are fans of Enies Lobby, so yeah, I think we can definitely relate to you there. But yeah, thank you for sharing your story. And you know, I like I was saying, I think everybody's journey through One Piece is a little different, and I think that makes it really special for everybody. And yeah, we wanted to kind of share that with other people as well. So that's kind of like the point of the podcast. You kind of share our experiences with the series, and hopefully experience it with listeners of the podcast as well. All right. Well, how about we get into the summary for where we left off? So I'm going to just start reading the summary from the beginning of the volume. Having finished their 2 years of training, the Strat crew reunites on the Sabaody archipelago. They set sail more determined than ever to reach the new world. The Thousand Sunny takes them to Fishman Island, 30,000 feet below the sea, where the fishmen hold a deep hatred for mankind. Captain Hody of the new Fishman Pirates announces his intent to take over the kingdom. Luffy's crew rescues Princess Shirahoshi, who wants peace with the humans, and they stop Hody's scheme. Now the island is ready to walk forward into the future. After saying their goodbyes to Shirahoshi, the Strat set off into the new world. Up on the surface, they receive an emergency signal and land on an island, guarded by a dragon. And what's up with that guy who just is a pair of legs? So hopefully we'll get some answers to these questions.
What's the deal?
All right, so before we get some answers, let's do the cover story for Decks of the World Volume 39, Gourmet Town, Pucci. For ship buying, repairs, and dismantling, see the Zanbai Union. Zanbai now works for the Galliot Company and oversees orders from other islands outside of Water 7.
The goats.
Yeah.
I love that Oda's still in his Rocky Horror phase.
You're so right, actually. You're so right.
And the roller skates.
Also, like this Humpty Dumpty ass looking dude sitting there, like, love him. Definition jolly right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he looks like he's like taking orders from like Sonic or something, where he's like on the skates, like, oh, you want 2 ships, you want a cola, you want a large fry and the burger with that.
You see, the cola powered ships are better for the environment, sir. You know, you get by on there. Did anyone else think? Just speaking of this is a little bit of a callback here. This round ass dude and the not the dude by him, but the family member. Did y'all think that he was that when the when CP8 or 7, whoever the other one shows up at Ennie's lobby? Did you think Fukuro was him for a second? Because I remember vividly being like, wait, is that like, is that the guy? Because they're very it's not. But like I remember these have the same very rounded proportions. I remember being like, wait, was there another one? Did I miss an episode where they revealed that?
I love that.
Yeah, I don't know. Just stray thoughts.
I think this guy Byman is the mayor.
Do we have fact checking on this podcast? I'll fact check.
Yeah, I think it might have come up like previously in Water 7 where Iceberg had canceled like a meeting with Byman. I think he was the mayor of this town. So yeah, I think he's like, clear my schedule. Like I don't want to like meet the mayor. I think that's when he got name dropped. So this is like the actual first time I think we've actually seen this character.
Oh, the gourmet town. Gourmet.
But yeah, no, it's cool that the Frankie family is getting work.
Yeah, I mean we love those boys. They only mean well. They're just a bunch of misfits, thrown away in the dredges, and they just gave each other a hug and said, "We're gonna get out of this together." And then they all got naked half the time. And by all, I mean the one that matters.
Okay. Any other thoughts for the cover story before we move on? Okay. Moving on to the chapter. Chapter 657, Severed Head. Luffy decides to attach the pair of legs they found to his back, declaring himself a centaur. The Strata exploration group reach a vantage point and discover the snowy peaks on the other side of the island across the lake. They realize this must be where the SOS call came from along with these samurai. Usopp notices a bird woman who flies off, though none of the others seem to have noticed. Frankie, Sanji, Nami, and Chopper wake up in a sealed room as they try to recall what happened, but Brook is not with them. However, what is with them is a head in several pieces that speaks to them. They attempt to reassemble the face. They get it close enough. He explains that he was shamed by being cut down by someone and left alive, but he doesn't know their name. He was hoping that he could work together with his fellow prisoners, but does not want help from pirates. The head makes some comments that causes Nami to realize that part of the island must be covered in ice. Frankie unleashes a radical beam, blasting the door down. As he starts to leave, Sanji feels bad and asks the head what his plan is. He fixes it correctly, figuring out that he is a samurai from Wano. Sanji blames the samurai for them coming to the island in the first place, since they got a distress call that he was cutting people down, but he shouted that he does not commit murder and is here to save his son. Sanji brings the head with them as they run to escape. They come across a room full of very large children. All right, thoughts on this one?
So for me, what I really like about this chapter in particular is that it does a really good job of contrasting the two threat levels. On the one hand, you have like very like visually violent areas with like the conceit of you're in the dragon's den, like literally and metaphorically, like with Bird Woman showing up as well. And then you have the opposite where you have like this very like cold, callous, calculated area with the guards and the children at the end. And it's just this like random violent piece of like the samurai that kind of like even contrasts that own environment where he's like clearly like this isn't where I belong personally. And I think it's a really cool aspect of the storytelling here where the whole island is one big contrast and contradiction, obviously, just very, very obviously. But the way in which they pace the group split stories with that contrast and sort of make the flow and the visual design very distinct, I think it's like a really cool aspect of this whole overall arc we're getting into, not just this one chapter.
Definitely. Yeah, so this is where we find out that I'm sorry.
So we're getting the good insight this week. Let's go.
Yeah, so like we do find out here that the island is both fire and ice. So I think Evan did actually pick up on this as well. There was like some hints of it too, because Nami had noticed like the sky in the distance looked like it was like snowing. So she kind of was picking up on it, but she's connecting the dots here and figuring it out. And then Luffy's group sees, okay, there's like snow on the other side of this island. It's not just burning fire. They also saw that like Robin had noticed that the fire looked like it was not like a natural part of the environment. It was something like that happened here that caused the fire. So yeah, we're kind of getting some of that unveiling here.
Yeah, Punk Hazard is such a cool environment. I love the island of fire and ice, dragons and angels, or like bird folk or whatever. And centaurs, and now Luffy's a centaur for the rest of the series, which is exciting.
Yeah, that's gear 4. It's 4 legs, you know. You saw gear 2. Wait till you get to gear 4.
Yeah, this is it. This is peak.
Hey, listen, he saw Frankie do it once, and he's just like, I want in. I want to do that too.
Actually, that's a good point. I feel like we
That's
haven't
true.
seen Frankie Centaur since like Enies Lobby. Like,
Yeah, hot take.
Like,
Frankie got the
train.
biggest downgrade post time skip. I'm sorry. I know
No,
it's
agreed.
controversial.
Agreed.
Like, I love him. He's my favorite Straw Hat crew member that isn't Robin. I think in de facto say that, but yeah, dude, big downgrade on the dude. I mean, I see where we're going, where we are in One Piece now, like why we did this, but it was really not worth the wait to get this far in and be like, oh yeah, okay.
yeah, I had
Yeah,
a similar
Frankie's a
take as well. I think the big thing is the hair. His hair was like his hair is also like amazing. For me, like I do miss the hair. It was nice to
Get
like
rid of
pick
that
an
for a
island.
buzz cut.
Yeah, well, we got the beetle hair right now. Yeah, we got the beetle, like the pincer hair on this one. Also, notably, the return of Chopper's cross is back this chapter from that we haven't seen since pre-time skip. I just always like when they bring it up because I'm always like, you're doing something. I don't know what we're doing with this, but this cross is around. People have these crosses. And there's regular cross, like we've seen regular crosses in One Piece. So it's very specific that he has this curved one that we keep seeing come up throughout like the manga and the show. I think a little bit more in the show where it's like non-canon at sometimes, but
I just want to say I love the Cronenbergian aspect of the samurai's head split into a bunch of like little giblets.
Yeah,
It's very, it's
little
very
jiggies
like,
from Banjo Kazooie.
yeah, it's quite the visual.
How many tries do you think it would take you all to build that right?
I
It's like,
mean,
let's see, 3,
It's
4.
harder than the Shrine of the Silver Monkey. I'll say that much. but-
yeah. I think I
it's
would
like
have
the
an easier
5
time than
time.
the Straw Hats did, but it might take me a few tries.
Also, like, this is the first radical beam, right? No, the second one. First
second,
one's a
yeah,
fishman. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That's the one on the printed card. My
Yep.
bad. Fake One Piece card game player here. Doesn't even know this squid dude's going in the side of that card. I don't know shit.
I love
think,
that in the midst of all. Oh, sorry, keep going.
No, you go.
In the midst, just the quick shot of Zoro still eating while they're just walking around is just very funny to me because you don't usually Luffy's got the big puffed out cheeks, so
He's just so disinterested, really.
yeah. Check it out. ...
How you guys feel about the samurai right now?
The Wano Samurai.
The Wano samurai.
He's kind of an asshole, but like, he's here for a good
Yeah.
reason. But he's also kind of an asshole.
He's giving Polly.
I remember liking Samurai more the first time I saw him than like my rewatch, and even like this reread prepping for today. That was like, yeah, like I feel like I gave more credit to like, oh, it's a samurai sworn to duty mission, and then I'm just like, nah, you know what? He was a dick. He had so much time to chill out in this cell. He's been here for a while. He didn't just get thrown in here and he's reacting to this now.
He doesn't really give the best first impression. Yeah, Cody, like you said, he is kind of like also giving like Pauly vibes, where he's like, oh, like you're dressing so crudely and like judging Nami for the way she's dressing, but he seems to enjoy it more than maybe Pauly did. Or Pauly's like cover up, and he's kind of like, don't cover up. But like it's like, hey, you kind of contradict yourself here.
Let me berate you, but also keep it going. You know?
Yeah. He's also in a tough position though, where he's basically ahead in pieces, so that's already not a great place to be. He can't do anything about that. It seems like his legs are the ones that maybe Luffy found. Yeah, he's kind of like split up, so his whole body is not here. So he's also looking for his son, so he's worried about his son. So he's kind of in a tough spot here. I don't know if that helps give him a pass at all.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of the perv jokes. It's just never funny to me. But the panel of him saying, "I came to this island to save my son's life," goes so hard. And just gives me a feeling of if there's something below the surface here that's gonna make me not even worry about all the dumbassery for this. And also, if my head was cut into that many pieces and I was trying to save my son, I'd probably be an asshole too.
Yeah, after seeing the manuscript panels that were at One Piece Day, like and see like the line work that was there and stuff, right? I have such like an imagination for like what this panel, the same one you're referencing, must like look like in person with all this like fine line work and like shading that's going on here. Like this must go so hard. Yeah, I think in the moment, the jokes are like a little too much, especially when you already have Sanji in the room and stuff like that, right? I do think though that they do a good job at setting up that like this is, and some of it's like lost in I think the English localization more than like the direct translation of someone like who read the manga through translation. That like they do put a lot of the seating here and like the way he talks and stuff like that. That there's a cultural divide from like language that is not seen when like the Straw Hats talk. I think it's a good thing of being like, oh, it's not like sexism. Like this might be something more traditional or cultural based on the way he's dressed, based on the way he talks, based on his looks or his mannerisms, which I think is more interesting than just like Polly hitting on someone or Sanji's being pervy on someone. You know, I think there's like a more depth to it that's like enjoyable and more mystery too, because it's like, well, we've seen what a perv is. Oda's not afraid of just throwing a perv to be pervy and just that's it. I think the fact that there is like, oh, asterisk mark in all of this, it makes it more, it distills a character of more interest off the rip than you would have otherwise. Because you do see he has like layers to him within this moment of like fear and rage. Like he's boiling with rage right now. It's absolutely insane. Like imagine like, your son's here. You're literally in pieces. You're in literal pieces on this island. You're a samurai, so you're duty bound. I mean, assuming real life samurai stuff, like you're duty bound and you're a warrior and you can do nothing. Like imagine, and you can't even like grit, you can't even like claw at the wall or anything like that. Like you don't have hands, you don't have feet, you can't stomp it out. Like imagine the rage must be building inside that head.
Yeah. Yeah, you do bring up a great point where we do get a really good snapshot of this character. We see like a lot of different facets of him just from this one chapter. We see different sides of her personality, but it does say a lot too, because like you said, it seems like a lot of his character is based off of like the culture and tradition. So we do see like, maybe his approach to Nami is about that tradition, but then like, the concept of like the shame and pride where he doesn't want to accept help from the pirates. So these are all things that we can infer from this character, and possibly, people from Wano or a samurai from Wano, this might be something that is just common with that culture. So yeah, I think that's a great point that you bring up where that's probably very intrinsic to where he's from.
Yeah, real quick, this is one line I was looking for while I was talking. I finally found it where you were talking. It's this one line in particular that always got me, which is Guy, like in quotes, "How dare you speak to a warrior with that tone, woman? Women are to be graceful, mind their tongues, and speak when they are spoken to." Which is like a completely different level from like sexism and perviness and whatever and like power abuse that's in this world. It's very much like fundamentally formed in him, and not so much like I hate women. It's literally a respect thing, which I think like for what we've seen in One Piece at this point is far more interesting and intriguing off the rip when you hear that than anything else this character is saying or doing. Because it just tells you that, if you, especially when you're an older adult, right, you have like more world history knowledge, you have more cultural history knowledge, right? That immediately waves a flag of like, okay, in this very vast, wide world, are there places like this that are so far back? Is this a person that's out of touch in some way? How long has he been in this prison? Is there a world where this man has been in this prison for years, decades, maybe? We don't know. And I think it's just so much more interesting in that regard.
Yeah.
He does almost feel like a man out of time.
Yeah. Also, Nami's response, "This is called fashion," is great.
This is what fashion looks like. Cody, did you have something?
I was just gonna quick piggyback off of Mike's point is that I feel similarly about these scenes working when there is that depth to them. To me, it makes me think of Brooke's initial perviness, because that was just, this guy's been alone for 50 years and he has no idea of social norms. He has no idea how to act around people. And so I think when there is that greater context, like you just mentioned, I think it does work. It does work through, and I think this one ultimately does. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, so then they do break out of the cell and they start to see more of the facility, and they come across this room full of children.
All vanillas. Every one of them.
Yeah, you can tell Mike plays a card game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These kids Very, very like kiddish, except for the one on the far left, who's got like a whole like Lieutenant Surge buzz cut going on. Like everyone else, like very shaggy, like they're just kind of here, except for the newborn, obviously, right? Long, flowing, shaggy hair. And there's that one kid, like, no. Like, who gave that kid a razor? Who gave that kid a blade to make this happen, you know?
Or do they provide haircuts for the kids?
I feel like they don't. Because look at them. They're so shaggy. I mean, unless it's like mandatory, like my only thought is like it gets so long where it's unmanageable and then they shave it down to nothing and you start over. Like that's the only thing I can think of. Or this kid got some bum ass genetics.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty surprising though. You don't expect to see a bunch of big kids, like oversized kids. Like when I say big kids, like
oversized kids.
These kids are bigger than
Jumbo
the adults.
Are these kids bigger, more oversized than Humpty Dumpty on the cover, or nar?
Was that an Australian no?
That was a Canadian no.
Okay, it's
I think it's Canadian. I was always Canadian.
I know you're bilingual.
No, I just the only thing I can do is I can speak a little Spanish. Going back to the art real quick, I think there's something else that's like really cool about this. Just kind of go back to the contrasting. You'll notice that like if you're a reader and you're reading along, like I hope you all are. Hope you're going onto your UH app. You have what like the fire stand Puck Hazard, a lot of like line work, and part of that is like doing flames, but another part of that is like it's very like bubbly and curved and like lots of like almost like dynamic ends to like match the fire, which is cool. And then obviously on the ice end, whether it's the peaks you see from across the way, the building facility we're out in with the crew inside with the samurai, you have like a lot of like very stiff line work, very like edged, jagged. And a lot of that is just the material, right? One's fire, one's ice, you know, one's a solid, one's like a little bit of a more dynamic shape. But when it comes to like the physical medium, like a drawing, I think it does a lot to visually do a lot of storytelling as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And just the last thing I wanted to mention before we do wrap up the chapter. So there is this bird woman that only Usopp did see, and we don't really know what her deal is yet. She just kind of shows up, laughs, and then disappears. But I do like the presentation that Oda has here where there's like the shadow over her face. So she kind of looks a little like scary here. And Usopp's like shading also, like he just looks terrified. Like there's like the shiver. So I really like the way that kind of plays out. And of course, Usopp is the one that would see her, and he's kind of scared to death. He's like, "Oh, like we need to leave. Like what is that?" Like
the coward and the liar is the one that's seen her. Yeah, I don't know how to tell you this, and how do you tell Usopp this, Joel? But birds aren't real, so he didn't see shit.
She's a robot.
All right, but how about for now? Let's get back to Decks of the World, Volume 40, Wandering Through a Bark. I found Kumasi.
No, poor Kumasi.
He was so free.
Perona returns to throw a bark and finds Kumasi's body.
Someone free my man.
Justice for Kumasi. Have everyone here sub watcher on the Sun?
I do dubs.
I do dubs.
I've watched the sub here and there, but
I see. I'm also a dub
dubs.
watcher. Wait, does anyone here watch the sub?
I used to back in the day. Now
I was
just
wondering
read.
what Kumasi sounds like in the sub. I was curious if anyone knew. He's kind of like this, mistress, but like a little lower.
Well, I'm sure Perona enjoys Kumasi better like this because his voice is no longer going to annoy her.
Damn. Okay.
She was a hater. She was a hater.
That whole thing. She's like, Kumasi, stop talking.
But she's like, she's open that she's a hater.
Like, you're so not cute when you talk, Kumasi.
Just like Joel.
Well, I'm not hating on Kumasi. I'm just saying facts here. I'm just saying facts.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so any thoughts on Perona's reunion with Kumasi?
No, hater. Move on. There is a good boy to get to. Why are we wasting time on her?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
All right, you heard the man. Let's move on to chapter 658, The Biscuits Room. The children are concerned by the arrival of the strangers, but are impressed by the raccoon and the robot. The head asks if they know a boy named Momonosuke, which scares the kids that the head is talking. People in hazmat suits arrive, noticing the door to the Biscuits Room is open. The Strats run, but the kids ask if they have a ship and request that they save them. They beg for them to take them home since they aren't sick anymore. Nami decides that they will help the children. Sanji and Frankie stay behind to fight off the hazmat team to let the others escape. Another hazmat team investigates the door Frankie destroyed with their master, who appears to be a gas cloud. He receives a report that a Navy ship is arriving, so he orders for them to chase them away. Brooke has woken up and calls the exploration team, letting them know he woke up alone on the ship. He has started investigating the cold part of the island, finding some large buildings. The group is then attacked by people with animal torsos. After defeating them, they decide that they should go look for their captured crewmates on the frozen part of the island. The G5 naval ship arrives at Punk Hazard, led by Smoker. Smoker ascertains that the toxic gas is not natural, as this place was a barren island 2 years ago. Now Kiji and Aka Inu had their duel here.
Evan.
That explains a lot.
This is one of the greatest Lord Up moments in One Piece.
It's
just straight
very
up.
cool.
Yeah,
I love
this
this line.
Incredible.
And
Yeah, this line from Smoker is so good.
the double-decker extra large with the water fountain LG fridge with the sunglasses on rolling up. Smoke Daddy.
Smatty.
That chest, brother, that chest can fit 3 12-packs plus your meals
The
for a week.
undercut. Fuck, dude.
The compartments in that fridge go crazy. Just built different. Anyway.
True.
Yeah, so Evan, did you figure out like what was happening here? What caused the island to be like this, or is this a surprise to you?
This was a surprise. I mean, it's so epic that I couldn't even like foresee it, but it fits so beautifully. And the fact that a fight that could change the climate of an island is incredibly badass.
Yeah, to two opposing climates.
Yeah, so cool. And there's like this crater in the center. Very cool.
I want to know, was the volcano there before?
I feel like there were mountains and he triggered an eruption from deep below. That's what I
like
choose
that.
to believe. Because
Could be it.
we see ice mountains like very clearly, like they're not icebergs, they're definitely mountains. So I feel like there was just mountainous and he like triggered an eruption.
Could be the case.
Yeah.
I hope we get flashbacks of this fight in the future.
Please, God.
This is
God.
also the chapter / like moment that made me care a lot more about whenever an island was introduced. Because every other time we've been all over these wacky zany islands, you know, Long Ring, Long Island, everyone knows, fucking goofy ass. Remember a few years ago when everyone thought Long Ring, Long Island was where the fucking One Piece is gonna be, even though it made 0 sense. Like even though it made 0 sense, there were dudes on Reddit being like, Long Ring, Long Island, that's Laugh Tale, brother. It's like, no, it's not. It doesn't even make any fucking sense. Anyways.
Hey, you're gonna eat those words. Just wait.
Oh yeah? The big Long Ring over here, big Long Ring guy.
He's playing the long game.
But yeah, we've been like desensitized, I think, to like the crazy cool environments in One Piece. Just be like, hey, we're in this flying island. Just cuz, which is sick. Don't get me wrong. But like, this is next level world building. We're like, you roll up here and you go, yeah, cool, Fire Island, Ice Island, great. And you don't think about it. And then it's like, nah, they re-terraformed the island and dueled for Admiral ship. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, because this was kind of set up a little bit where we found out in Fishman Island that this battle had occurred, but we didn't know exactly where it happened. They just said, oh, it happened on a certain island. And now we're getting the reveal that this is the island and this is the result of that battle that they had. So pretty cool result here. So I think it's making an interesting location for this arc.
Common theme being introduced here. Power scaling in this arc out of whack. Because that duel did not take place long after Marineford. They were not that popping in Marineford. Like I love Kuzan, I love Sakazuki, right? They're cool designs, just for the combat. They were not popping off like this. And if they weren't, why weren't they? Like,
I mean, they did want to destroy Marine HQ.
Sakazuki did not give a fuck. Let's be real. He did not. He was burning his own dudes alive. He did not give a shit.
He's like, we're gonna move it anyway. I have plans for this place.
Yeah.
Valid.
Big theme here we're about to get into, which is power scaling. Doesn't exist here.
And we've talked a lot about matchups too, and it's so cool to see the aftermath of these two like seemingly like perfectly opposing matchups. The Fire and Ice.
Yeah. I think we didn't really, we kind of like lightly brushed over it, but like we also have like the fight with some more of the duders on Luffy's side going on. I don't think they crossed yet, right? Yeah, they're still on the fire side. What they do here is like really cool with like, even though a lot of these dudes are like they're not boss fights, they get taken out in one fight. Seeing like the cool body parts and like mandibles and physical pieces they have, I think like offer some really cool combat framing here. Like I love the Luffy kick, the big in the air twirl you get on like the half page panel near the back end. Super cool looking high kick. He's like, oh yeah, you know, I got toppling back. I mean, he could have just sweep the leg, but Luffy ain't that smart. He wants to go over the face, you know. But the Robin frame of like, oh, this dude is a giraffe. I gotta go run up him a bit. Like, there's just a really cool like perspective work going on. I do think it's just more interesting than here's Marine number 11 again. Here's Marine number 12 again.
Yeah, Robin's like, I gotta use every arm.
Yeah,
she has like maybe like 20 arms here.
Also, I lied. Birds are real. We get more birds here, and sorry.
Big reveal.
Big reveal. Birds confirmed. Do you want to say though, bird canonically should not be able to fly through a storm like this? Just saying. Something weird with that bird. Probably a robot still. Also, my favorite kid gets introduced, which is Onion Head. Reminds me of Sour Cream from Steven Universe. He's you can see him very clearly in the the Sanji and Frankie staying behind. I think it's like page 10 or 11. He goes Kia, and he just looks like Sour Cream and Onion from Steven Universe.
This chapter really hits differently now that I'm in my early 30s than it did when I was like 16. Just, I don't know. One, the kids love their Beatles. They love Frankie. I'm sure that if this happened now, they'd be saying he's so skibbity sigma, whatever. Like literally, like I read the chapter and my mind just goes, "He's so skibbity! Oh my god!" But no, just I don't know. The gravity of the situation these kids are in hits me so much harder on this reread than it used to. How based Nami is in actually getting them to give a shit for 2 seconds about them hits even harder than it did before. And I'm not sure if the decision to have Nami be that the catalyst there is due to her own experiences in captivity as a child, or if there's any other reason there. But it really is a very strong character moment for her at this point.
Yeah, agreed.
So definitely give me the feels.
Yeah, was my. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was my read as well, where Nami was kind of robbed of her own childhood, and I feel like she can kind of sympathize with these kids. So I think it is a great moment, and this always kind of did hit for me too, where like this seemed like such a genuine, sincere moment for Nami, who typically is very focused on money, and we don't really associate her with being like a super caring person. Usually, like, you know, when even like going back to like Alabasta, like she was like her motivation was like she wanted to help BV at the end, but like the whole reason for getting involved was like, oh, maybe we get money out of this. Even when they're leaving Alabasta, she's like, oh, we didn't get the money, but oh well. But yeah, so normally Nami's motivation isn't meant to be like, I'm going to do this like and not get anything out of it. So she seems to really understand these kids' plight and their situation, and I think she legitimately wants to help here. I think for Chopper too, Chopper seems very concerned where you know, when he hears that they're sick, he's like, oh no, like what are they sick with? Like I feel bad for these kids too. So I think this is like a great moment in this arc for both Nami and Chopper when it comes to taking care of these kids.
What is the One Piece version of the Hippocratic Oath? Because then Chopper is just invoking it.
The heroic oath.
Yeah, sure. The Herolokian oath. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Mike, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say the one thing that the one thing that doesn't track for me in this is like, and some of this is we'll get to it, but like seeing what's on this island, right? Like we got hybrid peoples, we got flying bird woman, we got these dudes in crazy like, you know, Monsters Inc. looking suits. Why is the talking head what scares the kids? They have been experimented on. They've seen some shit. Why is the talking head scary? That's all I'm saying, you know?
Well, I think they're still kids. And I feel like maybe what's been done to them, like, okay, we don't really know what they've gone through here. So it seems like they're like in an environment that's like it's like a children's playroom. So maybe they didn't actually see anything scary. Maybe like they've been like just like seeing like this nice room that they've been in, and like people come in and they take care of them, like these nice people. So like they're here because like was it mentioned here where like
they're
wanna
like they're
see, like,
not
their mom and
sick.
dad,
That's
but-
all we really know.
Well, they said, "Oh, we're not sick anymore."
We're not sick anymore. Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
that's what they're saying. I'm saying
Yeah.
from their perspective, they're like, we're not sick. Take us home. And like to me, it's like, okay, well, when you got the dudes in hazmat suits, you got kids saying they're not sick. I don't know. I feel like you've been through some shit, you know? Like, I feel like you've been also, you just saw a dude light his foot on fire. That's pretty scary. Like, by the same sentiment, right? Like, oh my God, this dude's on fire. Also, we live in ice. That's kind of scary. It's like we don't want to, do we want to heat the place up? Are we going to flood? What's going to happen next? I don't even know what a coulier is. Collier? What I don't know how to pronounce this.
I'm not.
I get the impression like the kids like so the kids just start reacting to things like guns scary, but then they see like the rocket punch and they're like, oh, awesome. So they start reacting to things like they're like impressed by like the cool like pirate people here. But yeah, I still think they're kids at the end of the day, and like they're afraid of like things. But I think like the samurai like was scaring them because he was like a talking head that was yelling at them. So it might just like kind of like caught them off guard. But really, the main thing here is they want to go home and see their parents. They don't know why they're being kept here at this point. They don't feel like they're sick anymore. Like they already got treatment, and they're like, "Hey, we're all good now. So I want to go see my mom and dad." So they just want to go home. So they're like, "Oh, these people here, maybe they can bring us home." They came from somewhere. We haven't seen them before, so hopefully they can bring us on the ship.
So the lighting on Sanji's Collier strike, if that's how you pronounce it, Oda's use of negative space post timeskip is really fucking beautiful.
It's so good.
Yeah.
His lighting
God
effects,
damn.
like I think right at the end of Marineford especially, where he like was like, okay, I got Ace and I got Sokka. We're throwing around all these light sources. We got Marcelino throwing around light sources. I think he really realized like I gotta step it up a bit because it just all kind of looks samey. And yeah, it's the negative space, and it's also the inverse shadowing caused by a lot of the light sources. It's just so cool. Even the guns and stuff like that in the scene are like really cool with some of the small explosions going on.
Also, that centaur kick panel goes so hard. Like we didn't even need that, but it's so good.
Dude, I told you, it's like this is like one of the best goon kick in the faces like in the series.
Yeah. I also, while staring at it, noticed that this leopard centaur is also wearing a leopard vest.
Yeah, he's matching.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's interesting.
Yeah, gotta match.
One thing I wanted to ask you guys was because Luffy named the legs. He named them Ashimaru. Does anybody know what that means?
I don't.
No, can't wait for the Lord Hump though.
So Ashi means feet in Japanese. I think the Maru part is just like a nickname, like a cutesy nicknamey type thing. So he's basically like just calling them feet. So he came up with like a cute name for feet.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you trying to tell us something, Oda? What are we doing here?
Yeah, so it's just like a kind of simple thing that Luffy came up with for the nickname for the legs. But yeah, I just think it's like interesting to see like what these things mean when they come up with like names for things that are clearly Japanese, but we don't know. Like we have a direct translation here.
You said it was Ashi?
Yeah, Ashi.
Ashi. Okay.
Yeah, so Ashimaru. Hey, yeah, you guys got anything else before we move on?
We glazed over this amorphous blob that everyone's calling boss, or whatever that is.
Wow.
Yeah, there's like this like little like it was like a cloud type thing or something.
Yeah, it looks like
Swirly boy.
goop.
Yeah, so this is the thing that they're responding to, and like you said, they're calling it like a master. But yeah, he doesn't seem to be thrilled that the Navy is here. So whatever he's doing, he does not want the Navy to know about. Yeah,
Also,
it seems
CC
like
is mentioned here.
Oh,
CC
yeah.
was found on the transponder snail.
Which is being carried by the bird woman.
Yep.
Well, you just assume their gender? That's crazy. Brad doesn't even know if it's a robot or a bird. He's like, girl, woman, skibbity.
Is that what Usopp said he saw? I'm sorry. He did just say bird person, so that could be a Rick and Morty reference.
Yep.
Just a bird person.
Yeah,
Right,
I
that's not
mean,
me.
yeah.
All right. Yeah, how about we wrap it up here and move on to the next part of the cover story? We have Decks of the World, Volume 41. Sabaody Archipelago, Disco the Slaver, down on his luck. Human auction hall has been run down, and Disco has not found a way to bounce back.
Good.
Deserved.
Man, you really gotta feel bad for this guy.
Oh
no,
no!
we don't.
Oh no, the slaver's out of work.
Oh man, this guy
Can,
doesn't have a job.
have you guys talked about
He's
like
out of
Oda's like?
booze. Wah.
I guess something about like Oda's incredible ability to like make you want to punch a guy so badly.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Like reading or watching One
Oh
Piece.
yeah.
This is one of those dudes. Some of the least amount of screen time and page time in all of One Piece, and just immediately you're like, yeah, he needs a punching. He needs a good thwapping.
Yeah, Charles was the one in particular who
Yeah.
definitely deserved the punch, and that was one of the most satisfying punches I've ever seen. So yeah, that was
Mhm.
that's a perfect example there as well. But yeah, Disco is also one of those people who is very punchable. So yeah, you really don't feel bad for this guy at all. So we're actually happy to see like the the human auction hall has kind of like been run down, and now he's out of the slave business here. So this is like a winning situation for everybody.
Do we have a confirmation of who the wanted posters below him are? One
I think
kind of
they're
looks
the
like Chopper.
supernovas.
Yes.
Okay,
one of
yeah,
them
I
looks
see
like
Kid.
one of them is
I see
Kid.
Kid.
Yeah,
Kid.
so I think it's this. Yeah.
The one in the center to the right of Cade
To the-
kind of looks like Chopper for some reason to me. I don't know why.
I think it's supposed to be Luffy in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's
It's like
Law
a-
on the
it's like a-
right, then
I think
Luke.
this is
Then
like a
Luffy,
very-
Oh, you're
then
right. It is
Kid.
Law on the right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, these have to mean something, but it's like the perspective is so flat, and obviously on that angle they can't make it too detailed. But
Yeah, the Luffy one in particular just looks very rough sketch.
Cody really going in for the zoom and enhance right now.
I'm trying. Enhance.
He's gonna get his little jeweler eye scope out.
All right, well, how about we move on to the chapter? Chapter 659, About My Torso. The G5 ship finds a river path into the island. Some of the members are concerned about the poison gas, doubting that people can live here, but Tashigi points out this island was mentioned by name, so this is the right place. The Straw Exploration Group reaches the lake. Usopp avails his green star, Bodhi Banana, that they can use to get to the other side. One of the animal people that was beat up by Luffy returns, throwing a boulder at them. He sends out a signal to alert his boss so his allies can attack the intruders. Usopp figures the distress call must have come from one of these guys, who asked if their boss was there. The boss sees Zoro's katanas, accusing him of being the samurai who attacked his men. Frankie and Sanji knock the masks off the hazmat team, discovering they are animal people with horns. The head then mentions his torso is fighting someone. That someone happens to be Brook, who is confused and scared that a torso is attacking him. The Navy disembarks and discover there really isn't gas covering the island. Smoker figures someone wanted to keep them away from the island. As they approach, the door to the facility begins to open. They are greeted by one of the 7 warlords, Trafalgar Law. Smoker tells him that this island is off limits, including government men. But Law points out that applies to him as well.
Yeah!
That's my go.
Let's go!
We have some Law fans here.
Yeah! God damn.
This outfit's so
Oh.
hard too, with like the line work
Yeah.
and like the shading that has to go into it with the inking. Like, oh my god.
Just the pose.
The foot is phenomenally.
Yeah, the
crafted.
cross.
Yes. Just the way he's got like the one hand just resting on the blade and the other one tucked away. He's so cunty. He is serving so much cunt. Oh my god.
Everyone else here is scared, right? Tashiki's like kind of like, oh god, cunty.
The aura's too powerful.
She's around Smoker all day with his shirt off. She's like Mr. Burns, where it's like, I thought things were sexual when they had more clothes on.
He's such a smug little bastard too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Guess it applies to you too.
Yeah.
Sucks,
Also, like
you
the
know?
only location we've seen where his hat makes sense. Like he's on Saba Oni with this hat, and I'm like, brother, how are you not sweating? Like Marineford, it's like you're compressed underwater. That shit gotta be sweating down there. Big swelter in the polar tang. Finally, someplace where the hat makes sense.
I do love this new version of the hat though, with the brim. Normally, I love his old beanie version. This one, I just like the fact that the brim casts a shadow out over the eyes, which adds so much mystique to him in this moment specifically.
Yeah,
because they're looking like this guy's a freak. This guy's a freak. We don't want any part of this. And it just boom. Don't fuck with him.
I remember seeing the revised hat and being like, is he also kind of animal right now? Like is he part of whatever's going on here? I thought it was a good touch.
He's got like the leopard spotted seal theme going on here. It's kind of sick.
Mm-hmm.
The insignia on the sleeve and the front panel of the jacket.
The jacket front panel is so clean. Like it's so
Fire.
good.
So good.
Yeah.
You think he sewed that himself, or you think he got that printed somewhere?
I'd say he made a very, very overly complicated design on like some scratch piece of paper, then took it somewhere like, got you. We got you.
Yeah, we got
But it was like he had like the measurements. It was like drafted like fully like fucking what's like AutoCAD graded like up to like the most impossible drafting standards that no one but him gives a single shit about. And they're like, it's just a jacket. We got you.
Okay, we got it. We'll make it cool for you.
I can talk about law all day. My favorite part of this chapter is actually the Brook fight. I think the use of like leading lines and line work during these panels are so good. The perspective, the undershot perspective where Samurai like torso goes for the two sword strike, where it's like looking up at Brook. I think it's so cool and very motivated. Especially when you're going like panel to panel, it really gives that dynamic. Like you're kind of caught off guard as a reader, but like mimics Brook in that moment of like, oh shit. Yeah, I think this is low key the high point of this chapter is the torso fight.
Yeah, I do think it's pretty funny how we see like the samurai's heads just like making like different reactions. He's like, oh, I'm fighting somebody right now. I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, no, my torso's fighting somebody. And it's like he doesn't really know what's going on. So now we see like his other parts. So it's kind of like his pieces are spread out like all over the place. And we see like, yeah, just like the torso is like hopping around one hand with like a sword out fighting Brook. And Brook's like, what are you going on? Like why are you attacking me? Are you a ghost? Like, who are you? What's happening? And Brook's like afraid of this guy. So he's like, I'm just trying to go away.
I always love any excuse to make like Brook afraid of like something demonic or ghostly, you know?
Yeah. Because like in Throw a Bark, he said he was afraid of ghosts.
Yeah. A skeleton! Where?
I love how he wasn't captured because like everyone's gassed and they're like, oh, they probably just mistaken you for a dead guy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, right.
Yeah, this one's already dead.
Yeah, this one's super dead.
These guys are messed up just carrying this dead body.
Now, I know there's a lot of like questions proposed in One Piece, you know, like what is the One Piece? What are we doing? Who are all these people, etc. I think this chapter presents the greatest question, which is you have one boat, an old man, a dog, and a chicken. How do you get them across the lake? And we find out that Luffy's just like, you're both going to swim for us. Two of y'all are going to swim, and we're going to be on your back. Like, yeah, no problem. Just let me and the dog sit on your backs, and the chicken and the old man can swim. You know, why not?
I love this little panel here where when Luffy makes that suggestion that like it's like, oh, we can't swim, and then Robin has like this little like imagination, like it's like a peaceful like swim where they're on their backs and just like enjoying a little boat ride, and she's just like has like the scene in her head, and then like Usopp's like, we're not carrying you guys, like come on. But I just love that's where Robin's head went.
Yeah, you know, she just she likes to like the romantic flows down by the lakeside, across from the fire mountains, looping towards the icy slopes.
Whoa,
scalps.
It's a different island.
Different island, brother. Did Onion Boy make an appearance in this chapter? Let me find out. Looking for my boy. Justice for Onion Kid.
He'll be the new Panda Man.
He's my Panda Man. Oh, here he is. We have him running away in the back of the group on page 10. Once again, back. He's a page 10 boy. He's running away with everyone else from behind.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Don't lose track. Hey, viewers at home, pay attention to this kid. He's gonna pop off. Sorry to spoil you. This kid's gonna pop off.
Coming back to the water, I also just love the Bodhi Banana Fangrass. Because it just does add to Usopp as this utility character. It's kind of reminiscent of the Dials and like this Jack of all trades. I've got all this like Batman utility belt thing that Usopp kind of has going for him. This is what I like about Pop Greens. Sometimes, like in Fishman Isle, I was like, this seems random and disconnected, but stuff like this, where it's just like the MacGyvering us out of a situation, that I love.
Yeah,
I agree.
Oh, wait. Unless I'm wrong, we didn't talk about something really important here.
Ooh.
This is the first time we know that Law is a warlord, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We
This is a reveal.
Yeah. So I want to know. I want to know our fresh boys' reactions to the fact that the supernova Trafalgar Law is, as far as we know, the first member of the new generation to become a warlord.
Yeah.
In other words, a government dog.
Yeah, Evan, what was your thoughts about this?
Yeah, this is a pretty epic reveal. We already kind of talked about his intro page, but it was like everything leading up to this point. It was kind of like we were talking about before with like, you're in a fire in an ice island. Like you don't think further than actually like, oh, this is One Piece. Like it's just how it is. And then you find out the creation behind that. And it was like finding out that Law was here. It's like, oh, our severed samurai makes a lot more sense now. Like I hadn't even thought about that until like, I'm a little embarrassed that I hadn't thought about it until the Law reveal, but as soon as I saw Law, I was like, oh wow, like all these pieces are starting to come together.
Nah, dude, it's so long.
Yeah,
It's
really.
like what? It's like 200 chapters since we seen him do it. Because
Yeah.
he doesn't do it at War of the Best. He did it last on Sabaody.
Yeah, because you see like a head cut into a bunch of pieces that's talking. You're like, oh, it's One Piece. Like there's some sort of devil fruit, or there's like something going on.
Yeah, you assume like he has a devil fruit, maybe. Or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I was on the fan forums like pretty heavily when this chapter was coming out. I don't think I saw a single person call this.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I
did
was
not see it
surprised.
coming. I did
Yeah,
not see it
I
coming.
didn't either.
It's
Yeah,
it was a
dude's
very good.
fucking warlord. Like that's
Yeah.
insane. So for power scaling, right? For anyone that's watching along, who's also new, right? Assumably, this man is as strong as Jinbei, Gecko Moria, Don Quixote, Doflamingo, Boa, but we all know Boa's like special circumstances of war. That's just not powerful, but like very like I have a specific reason I'm invited. Who else am I missing?
Yeah.
Bartholomew
Like-
Kuma?
Kuma, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, so he's like on that level here, and his bounty had gone up to 440 million. So that's an impressive bounty.
Joel, do you know where it was at before this?
I don't know if the last time we saw it was 100,000 or it was above 100,000, right?
Hold on, I have the Sabaody viewer
low
cards. Hold on,
hundreds,
where
I
is
think.
it?
Was it like 300 something? 260 something?
200s.
Yeah, I think it was like under 300,000. Well, Kid had the highest bounty of the supernovas.
Yeah.
But it did go up since the last time we did see it.
I
Higher
lied. I
than
put it
Luffy.
away somewhere. I usually have them out.
But Luffy's currently at 400, so Law's former bounty is higher than Luffy's current bounty.
But to be fair, Law was still active during the last 2 years. Luffy wasn't.
At Sabaody, he was 200 million berries, so he's more than double.
200 million. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay.
He also, yeah, and also like again, like I think Joel said it when I was really late, but this is former bounty because obviously when you're a warlord, you're on pause. So like technically, it's like probably way more. I'm not
What did
coping.
he do? What did he do?
What didn't he do? You see that cunt, brother? What didn't he do?
Oh yeah.
He just served all day.
I'm saying,
Let's
who
get
did he
in.
death drop on to get that? To who did he piss off? You know,
Well, apparently 100 pirates who he took their hearts
whose
from.
eyebrows did he glue?
Spoiler.
I'm just talking RuPaul, baby.
Nah. Our host.
No, it's in this chapter.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no,
weird.
it's there on the last page.
Yeah, he's a madman. In order to become a warlord, he sent pirate hearts back to headquarters. The guy's a freak.
A freak.
He didn't say how many.
Sent 100 pirate hearts.
It's at 100 pirate hearts.
Oh, does it say it? Oh shit.
It says it.
Brother, I'm looking at other stuff. Well, he just read it. I thought he was reading it back to me, and he didn't say the number. I just think it's neat.
It is.
And it's
neat.
undoubtedly neat.
It's quite.
Wait,
neat.
I don't. Am I crazy? I actually don't see it. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
It's like the last
Yes.
page. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is, with Law becoming Warlord, he's taking an open spot. But there's not just one open spot at the end of pre-time skip. Because Teach
Oh.
quit, and then they sicked Doflamingo on Moria.
Yeah. So now there's another. There could possibly be another one out there because it says he's one of the 7 warlords, right?
So we have a
So-
mystery. So we're back
mean-
to that number
Mystery.
of warlords, which
Okay,
was
wait,
my
to be
favorite thing,
fair,
by the
though,
way.
Dude, the first time we hear about the 7 warlords, there's only 6. To be fair, like the first time we hear about it, it's like,
No.
oh yeah, we need to replace someone.
No,
It's
the
like-
first time was Arlong Park, on the way to Arlong Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That,
They're just
because
really like-
they mentioned Jinbei
And then
was
Crocodile
one of
was
the
still a
7
warlord for a while.
Yeah, but they're replacing the dude. They're replacing the dude the teacher actually replaces. Because they're having the meeting about like, oh, who should replace this guy? 'Cause that's when we see Lafitte for the
Mhm.
first time, like before we know who he is or where he's from and stuff. So
Yeah, so that is a mystery, but one that is not being solved at this moment.
Let's see.
But one thing is, Law is kind of keeping the ammo theme going with the warlords, with the snow leopard.
Mm.
Because we've seen that all the other warlords had like an ammo theme to them.
yeah, I'm curious, like where the specific inspirations came from. I think they retroactively become really good as you go on. But I'm curious, like how much of their attributions were thought of ahead of time, or they're just like, yeah, this is neat, this is cool.
Yeah, with Oda, you never know because I feel like he has like these designs like planned like 15 years in advance, and then it's like, oh yeah, I had this like ready to go before, and I'm just gonna reveal it now. Or he might be like, oh yeah, I came up with this guy yesterday. So it's like you never know with this guy.
I mean, basically, Law. I came up with this guy like 2 weeks in advance. Anyway, he's a warlord now. Also, we had to show off the keyboard, just unplugged it. Bam, there we go. We in there. We in there.
Sheesh.
Nice.
Sheesh. It's literally just because Law was like super popular after they saw 2 panels of him. I was like, well, I guess I gotta make this guy a bigger part of the story.
One of the things with Law too is he's one of the few, just because like Japanese genetics and like culture, right? One of the few like people who has facial hair that's like a protagonist or like a main character, not protagonist, but main character who doesn't have like a full on beard. Like usually it's like you have nothing, or you have like a full on beard, or like Frankie, like big sideburns, right? But he has just like a regular, like, oh, I have like a matte layer of facial hair, which is like not very seen. And for me, as someone with facial hair, like was like also like, oh, cool.
Well, you also got Usopp and Sanji
What?
for facial hair.
Who?
What?
Law was the first though. Usopp and Sanji didn't get theirs till post-time skip. Law
Post-time.
was
Law
the
was the
originator.
first, yeah.
Law was
Post-time.
on the trend before anyone else.
Oh yeah. I thought you were saying it was before. Yeah, after.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
Now they do. Now,
But
yeah,
also like Usopp's is like more of like, I mean, I guess it grows out. It starts with like, the soul patchy kind of thing, you know?
yeah, he's got like this whole patch. Yeah.
Yeah. It really gets developed better.
All right.
But there's
Well,
some, like,
so go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, from slight piggyback off what Mike was saying, all I've heard is that there's a big marriage of old style tradition and weird like hipster counterculture things with Law's aesthetic from a Japanese standpoint, which is something I want to learn
Yeah.
more about when it comes to him personally.
Yeah, I can see that. All right. You guys have any other thoughts on this one?
Can you just please read the next chapter title? Please read the next chapter title.
You can do that. All right, let's move on. Chapter 660, Trafalgar Law, Warlord of the Sea.
Let's fucking go!
Oh yeah!
But first, we get these cute elephants.
Nami and Chopper get more information from the children as they look for an exit, learning that they were kidnapped by people who told them that their parents were sending them away to get treated for being sick. They reach a dark, cold room that scares the children because it's filled with corpses frozen beneath the ice. Sanji hears Nami scream, so he and Frankie go rejoin the others now that they've beaten up their enemies. The head points out that his son was not with the children, so he must be being kept somewhere else. Outside, Smoker confronts Law with the transmission they tapped of Luffy's call with someone on this island. He accuses Law of harboring Luffy since he helped him at Marineford. Law says no one else is here and that the transmission could be a fake. Suddenly, Chopper, Nami, Sanji and Frankie burst outside with the children. Realizing they ran into Law and the Navy, they decide to turn back and look for another way out. Things have now gotten out of hand, but Law cannot let anyone leave this island, activating his room ability, causing the Navy ship and debris to float into the air.
So Joel knows me. He's seen me play One Piece. This is my favorite panel in the entire series, is this final panel of Law floating the ship into the air. This is I have Custom Dawn, which is the resource card if you don't play the One Piece TCG of this panel. This is the perspective, like this like tilted side angle from below, the line work, the just like scale of like power on display, and just the use, I think, of really like the insurmountable literal weight being projected above like the weight of this man's power and the weight of like literally this thing above you that is like threatening to destroy and like kill like 100 dudes is crazy. Especially the colorized. Oh my god. Let me start on the colored panel of this. The colored panel of this goes so hard.
All at the lift of a finger.
Yeah.
Which finger is
So
that?
badass.
Which finger is it?
Law's finger.
Yeah.
Pointer finger.
Yeah, unfortunately. Gonna use that other finger they keep editing out.
The E finger. Or is it an A? Oh no, they changed it. It's the A finger now.
Yeah.
I miss it was just DETH.
I actually really like.
Oh, I get the question now.
Yeah. My favorite part of this one, actually, aside from that, because this is one of my favorite parts of the whole series, I actually, even though it's like we have tons of moments like this in One Piece where it's like the most obvious, dumb, on your face, predictable, like goofy, over the top, joyful contrast joke is about to happen. In this case, it's when they're all running out the door, and then they're just like, "Oh no!" Like it's sort of like, "Whoa, we fucking did no!" And like you see this coming like a mile away. But I think the execution between the demeanors of like Law, who's like a hard ass, but is like a person, like a genuine, regular ass dude otherwise, and then Smoker, who is this like hardened Navy man who's like more pissed off seeing this happen. Like, are you not taking me seriously right now? I think it's just such a good bit. Again, we get a lot of these in One Piece, but this one, even though it's so predictable, and in the anime, I remember they draw this moment out for like 3 minutes. I love this one for some reason. It just always stuck with me.
It's kind of like Scooby-Doo-esque, where it's like, oh no, like we ran to the ghost, now it's run the other way. Like,
yeah, especially when they all hit the fucking super on the way out. Like, it's so good.
That was great. Yeah, I do love that. Where the kids are doing it, Frankie's doing it in the tank mode. Chopper and Sanji is also doing it, but he's holding up the samurai head doing the pose. Even Sanji's doing the super pose, which I thought was a little surprise for Sanji. But
I think this is the only time I can think of where someone that isn't Usopp and Chopper and Luffy do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's so great to imagine this moment. Like it's such a tense moment, and Law's like, yeah, nobody's here. And then all of a sudden you hear this like cacophony of noise just getting louder and louder and louder. And then this huge crowd of people like, explode through the door.
I think for him too.
That's pure comedy.
For him too, like genuine surprise, because he doesn't know the rest of the Straw Hats. Like he doesn't know what Chopper sounds like. He doesn't know what Frankie sounds like, you know? So for him, he's probably just like, oh, fuck, it's these fucking dudes just running amok. Children got out or something, you know, which is bad. Probably doesn't want the Navy to see as much of children, you know, captured in here, right? Or whatever they are, whatever their status is. But like, he's probably like, okay, whatever. And then he sees the Straw Hats. And he's like, fuck.
It's like, I literally did not know they were here, so don't put that on me. Like,
yeah, like the contrast panel, literally, of like, so much for being alone. Like, I'm just as shocked as you are. Like, I did not know what this is gonna happen.
It's like, I know what it looks like, but it's not what it looks like.
Also, Onion Kid gets promoted to page 16 on this one. Shout out!
Oh, Onion Kid.
A little promotion there.
Moving up,
moving on up to the back pages.
For me, in this chapter, Law is so cool, and it ends with him, like you said, giving one of his biggest displays of coolness ever. This whole chapter's Law trying to keep his fucking cool. Dealing with the fucking feds showing up at his doorstep. And I think that we have. So
He's just trying to smoke a bowl, and then all of a sudden the police sets go on. And he's like,
right, and it's like, come
this.
My
on,
vacation home.
can I just enjoy my fucking Airbnb, please, God?
Yeah, we got reports of a disturbance in the area. You guys need to keep it down. It's too loud over here.
I feel like, though, at this point, with Law's very few appearances, we have an idea of his general demeanor. He's very cool. He's very collected, pretty snarky, a bit cunty, some may say. But in a lot of these panels, there is a softness to his expressions. Of sometimes genuine worry of when I think that when he sees Frankie, I think that when he is like, holy shit, I did not expect this. But I think there is a part of them that is just genuinely fascinated by this weird fucking robot thing that's there. And also Smoker's expression right below that. I'm talking the page where it's the bottom of the hey Frankie, hey Tank, the little song there. On the sides we see Law just like mouth agape, but we see Smoker. And this may just be me. I see a tinge of joy there. Joy that he is not delegating capturing the Straw Hats to a pirate. That he gets to do this himself.
Yep.
And there's something so vindicating about it for that. Because the page before, I see him and I'm like, he genuinely wants them to be here. And when Law's like, I'll do it for you, I feel like his heart's kind of breaking. And I love Smoker for that. And I love Oda for having that in this scene. In this super hardcore, gritty scene of Law just trying to get the cops off his back, we do have this underlayer here. And it's a tender underlayer for these two pretty hardcore characters.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it so much.
And also, don't forget, like, we're talking about, like, oh, yeah, you know, it's very joyful. It's very, like, cool contrast of, like, the serious tone against, like, the fun-loving, like, Straw Hat nature. Don't forget, we start this chapter in an ice cave full of frozen bodies that's a page and a half long. Like, this thing, if you go back and look at this, the level of, like, scrim, whatever the black tones are, they're tones, but whatever they are, like, the amount of, like, matte black that's, like, used in here and the negative space etching of white around it is so crazy. Like, Chopper is losing his mind right now. And the more you look, the worse it gets. Like, straight up. Like, you see, like, the obvious ones. You're like, oh, wait, there's another one there. There's another one there. There's a whole army down there. You're like, oh, there's a giant or something really big and, like, the one on the bottom. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and
they
one
seem
thing
to be
to
wearing
note
prisoner outfits.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention as well. They're wearing prison outfits.
Level 5.
Is this something Aokiji could do? Definitely. But
we
why?
don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, definitely a really creepy environment, and like, you know, it scares the kids, Nami and Chopper. That's why they do the scream that gets Sanji's attention earlier. And then Sanji thinks that's like, oh, Nami's screaming for me to come to her aid or something. And then we do see here, like, after that sequence, we see that Sanji and Frankie had beaten up the people in the hazmat suits, and they found out the people in the suits are like goat people. So they have like goat horns and like goat legs. So like, what's with these guys? So that's like another like layer that's being added. Like, basically this arc has like a ton of crazy things that are just happening, and it's like all these things we don't know why. So there's like so much information here that's being presented, and we don't have the answers to like what is happening.
Yeah, I think this arc has like the biggest like mystery component out of any One Piece arc, except for the one we just got done. If you're caught up, like this is definitely like the what's going on here. Let's say, like you said, very Scooby-Doo-esque. Like, the gang is split up. They're running down all these hallways. They're weaving in and out. They're running into like whodunit situations. It's like, oh no, there's this dragon. No, the dragon's not responsible. Okay, oh, there's this headless dude. No, it's not him, but his body's attacking the other guy. So maybe we don't really know. Oh, Trafalgar Law's here. It's like, oh well, he doesn't kill anyone. Yeah, Navy's here, but we know Smoker's like kind of good, kind of bad, ambiguously, you know. So yeah, it's a lot of like whodunit, but we don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
It also just very nicely lives up.
Mary was a goat person, right?
Oh.
Could
be Mary's brother.
Oh yes, yes.
I'm trying to remember if he had goat legs though.
I thought he was a goddamn.
We never saw them.
unicorn myself.
I thought it was a sheep. I don't know, a ram? Fuck, what's the taxonomy here? Jeez.
But yeah. Yeah, we never saw his legs because he was wearing pants. So I don't know, but we do see these guys' legs, and they do have like these animal parts. So we also did see other people on the island with like animal parts. So that's another thing that's going on too. It's like what these people that are like part animal. There's like so much going on here. It's insane.
I do think this arc is living up nicely so far to the hype of the new world. Just like the sheer amount of weird shit one after another. Like the way Oda sold the new world as being even crazier than the Grand Line, the first half, when so many people in the East said the Grand Line is the craziest place you've ever seen. I think at this point, Oda is doing a real good job of really just amping it up, but also making everything fit together.
And also that only the key players are here, right? So anytime we run into someone, like the first place we've been to outside of Fishman, we're running into a warlord and one of the most iconic Navy people we know in the show and in the story so far. And then we're also told, oh yeah, 2 of the admirals terraformed this island. Like that's an insane amount of shit going on in 3 chapters.
Yep.
Now we're seeing Trafalgar's Law's like power for the first time, really flexing. Like this is pretty captivating for me, like seeing this flex of power. And maybe I'm reading too much into it, but if you look at the panel where he creates room for the first time, it almost looks like there's like spots on the water, kind of like mimicking his character design. It's like snow leopard spotted.
Oh.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's more intentional than I thought it was. I thought it was just iceberg like floats, but little ice floats.
Yeah, there was like maybe like part of like the water or shading with the water, but yeah.
But I think they like designed it that way intentionally as like a mirror.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love it so much. Oh, it's so cool. My only chip on my shoulder is like, I see this and I'm like, so you could have saved Ace, right? You could have saved Ace, right? You chose to do nothing.
Wait, you got there too late.
Whose fault's that? This man can teleport. Whose fault's that?
All right. Any other thoughts before we move on from this one?
No, I think this chapter is just like one of the best chapters. I think also Oda clearly having the plan for like the ship panel, right? Big art moment, like everything around this panel, like the smoker charge, him smoking up in the bottom left, the ship obviously like crazy. But there's a lot of other really good like art and composition moments like in this chapter. Like we talked about the ice cave is really good. The end of the fight with Frankie and Sanji has some really like dynamic line work and a lot of like aspect ratio stuff going on where he's like throwing the samurai's head around or trying to figure out what's going on with the dudes. And even just like the wide of like the ice station of like this, like whatever this facility is, like kind of like coming out of the mountain, just really sick stuff. And I think he could have really phoned it in, you know, especially what's at the back of the chapter. You guys be like, yeah, it was like a 5 out of 10, but he gave us that one panel. We're chilling. But I think there's a lot of like really cool stuff to appreciate in this leading up to it. And I think it also undercuts what's at the end in a way of like, you don't expect something that crazy to happen because everything else just feels so normal. And then it's just like, oh no, we're kicking off. Well,
the last thing I did want to mention before we move on from this chapter was we did get a little bit more information about the kid situation, where it seems like they were told that their parents were sending them away, where they never got a chance to say like goodbye to their parents. It was just like people approached them and said, "Oh, hey, like your parents said that like you're sick, so you have to come with us. We're gonna take care of you." So they were kidnapped. It wasn't like, oh, the parents like, oh no, my kid's sick. We need to do something about it. It's like, hey, these people just came in, said, hey, oh, you guys are sick. We need to take care of you. Don't worry, your parents already gave us permission, so we're gonna take you. But you don't want to get them sick, so you can't say bye to them. But come with us. We'll take care of you. So we see here that like the reason these kids were taken was probably a very sinister reason, and it's something that they didn't fully understand. And it's like really tragic that they are in this situation in the first place. And I think it makes it even more important that they ran into these Straw Hats where, you know, Nami wanted to help them. So they ran to people that hopefully can get them away from these bad people who probably don't have good intentions, and that's why these kids are here in the first place. Okay, so moving on to Decks of the World, Volume 42, Impel Down, Prison Warden Hannibal and Chief Jailer Domino. Hannibal and Domino have been promoted following the Impel Down incident 2 years ago.
Let's go.
Yeah,
You rather have him than Magellan?
Yeah, honestly.
Wait, why didn't you like Magellan?
I
feel
Hannibal
like Magellan's
just-
in
he
it for
just-
the right reasons.
I feel like Hannibal's in it for the right reasons.
No, Hannibal is an egoist. He's all about himself. He literally just
How about
wants to be warden.
But that monologue he gave, like when he was fighting for his life at the end of Impel Down, to me that was it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Mike here. I feel like
Okay, valid.
yeah, I feel like Hannibal's reasons were purely self-serving, where like he didn't want to do a good job. Like he was trying to do things to actually make Magellan look worse. And like there are ways he could have helped like the prison if his like care was like for the prison, he would have done his job better. But
Yeah,
he's
like, undercutting Magellan like all the time.
Yeah, he shirked his duties because it would make Magellan look worse, and that was like his main goal.
Yeah.
For me, I guess it was where his arc was heading more than where he was at. I can take the L on this one. That's fine.
I honestly take that speech as him like in my mind, it's him trying to like justify his death almost because he thinks he's gonna die. He's like, I'm screwed, but he's trying to like eulogize himself. Like I don't see it as like as an inspirational speech for others. I see it as like him trying to like prop up his own self-worth and like what his existence was here in this moment that I mean, obviously we know no one dies in this goddamn series, but in his POV, you know, I just really like Magellan. I think Magellan's really cool.
I too think shitting 20 hours a day is cool.
Yeah. I mean,
talk about dream job.
I mean, listen, dude. Shout out to all my Crohn's brothers out there, you know?
Good.
All right. Like, Domino or Sadie?
We saying Domino or Sadie?
Domino or Sadie?
Sadie.
I'm kind of Domino. I'm kind of team Domino.
I'm big Domino. I like Domino. I also like that she has
talking
that
about
little
that
crush
one.
on Boa Hancock.
Yes.
Yeah. Valid.
But yeah, I mean, this is still like an interesting development. So yeah, I think it is interesting to see that Hannibal did eventually become warden, which that's what he wanted. So I mean, I guess good for him. But yeah, this is where we are now. All right. So do you guys have any other thoughts on this one?
I have a sad thought that I have to bring up, which is that I am just really feeling out of it right now, and I'm tired, so I'm going to drop off here.
Okay.
And I think Mike is picking up the slack for me tenfold, so I wish you all good luck.
Oh,
all good. All right, have a good night, Sean. Thanks for being on.
Have a good night.
Have a good one.
All right, now that he's gone, go talk about how much I fucking love that guy.
Yeah. I love Sean.
Yeah, he's on the East Coast, so it's a little bit later for him.
Okay. Shout out to Sean.
But yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the next chapter. Chapter 661, Lakeside Bandits. The Centaur group launches an attack at Luffy's group's boat, knocking them into the water. They are now sitting ducks in the water. When the Centaurs attempt to attack again, their guns all backfire. Brook arrives, having frozen the tips of their gun barrels. Luffy's group reaches the shore, but are freezing. They notice the enemy's warm coats. The Centaur's boss realizes too late this is Straw Hat Luffy from the worst generation 2 years ago. Back at the laboratory facility, Law has split the Navy ship in half. He sees these Strats trying to escape as well, then targets them with his ability, mixing up their minds with their bodies. Smoker threatens to have Law's title as a Warlord revoked, but Law tells him no communications will be going out as he removes all the transponder sails. Smoker warns the others to stay outside of the sphere of Law's op-op fruit powers as he launches an attack. Shiki charges in, but Smoker tells her to stop. Law cuts her in half.
Again, the dude just scans everyone and pinpoint targets their shit. The power scaling is crazy.
He's very surgical with his attacks.
Yeah. Also, shout out, fair panel this one, to Shiki getting cut in half. Like the momentum, her torso look, or like the top of her body looks like it still has in that panel. I think is so cool. It's so simple, but like it's something we don't get a lot of because of like we're usually playing around with like dynamic twists and turns of Luffy, but to see like as a impact frame of like a non-rubber character or non-rubber interaction here, I think is like really cool.
Yeah. Like this must be like so like terrifying to see like your body just be split into two. It's like I don't know if it's like painful necessarily, but just like your mind trying to probably process what's happening. Like I could see it being like terrifying. Yeah. So I think it's like such a crazy ability. And we actually get the name of his devil fruit here as well. This is like the reveal of the name of the op fruit.
The goat. The goat.
OP fruit.
Yeah, quite literally. You see, he already knows. He's picking up fast.
Yeah, so I like the way that like Smoker explains where it's like where like their patient's on the operating table, and it's like I can like move things around and like perform like these surgeries and like yeah. So it's like it's really cool how he's like just kind of like influencing everything like in this zone.
Smoker says it really well. He says the surgeon of death, anyone inside Law's sphere, is a helpless patient on his operating table.
Yeah,
so well said. Like that's it's so cool.
Yeah.
Also, like, again, we talk a lot about contrast tonight. The contrast between the design of like Smoker's fight choreography of like this like nimble, like amorphous mass of smoke that like kind of like rearranges itself and it takes up like a lot of space or little space, and versus Law that's very like small, symmetrical, very precise with the swings or his body. I think it's like really cool to see go out of especially when you contextually have not seen either of these dudes fight in hundreds of chapters.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've never really seen like the full extent of like Law's abilities as well. So this is kind of like we've seen like him do it like on a smaller scale, but this is kind of like a whole different level here.
Yeah, I think like interesting matchup.
The craziest thing I think we get is like he takes someone's head on Sabaody and plays with it, and then he messes with some cannonballs, I think.
Yeah.
And they're also both like fully aware of each other's power. Like Smoker knows exactly what he's dealing with, and Law knows exactly what he's dealing with.
Yeah, the audience is the only one being surprised here, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, which is cool.
And the other Navy, like the G5 people.
Yeah, because they're just fucking stupid, dude.
Yeah, they don't seem like the brightest bulbs, but yeah.
I will never understand how the Navy has such stupid people in it. Like it's like for every 100 people, there's 2 competent dudes. It's like, brother, this is a new world ship. Like, you gotta know something going on here.
One thing we also see here is a new use of Law's ability, where he targets the hearts of the Strat people running away, and then we see their personality switch.
I do like that, like
so fun.
The facial expression switch like instantly.
Yeah,
which is a really nice touch.
Yeah.
The wall shot also, like the darkened, like kind of like inverse, like white black shot above when he's doing the chambers is really cool. It's like that Oda does do like more like pretty often in terms of like the whole span of One Piece. But whenever he does it, you always know like, oh, something's about to pop here, like something really cool. It's like putting your turn signal on, you know? It's like, hey, watch this. Then they fear right into your car.
It's like you put the directional on and then you go the opposite direction.
Yeah,
like...
exactly. Yeah. Also, we bring half the ship crushing down, which is like super cool.
After making a fucking sculpture out of it.
Yeah,
assumedly for funsies. Exactly. Yeah,
he's just showing off.
There is something about Law. Like, there's a couple of points in this chapter where he's just like either like really slouched down or just like very inward. There's something that's also like just like weird, creepy art student. Like he's kind of a dork sometimes. Like I love how cool Law is, but I love that he's also just a fucking dweeb. In like just some little moments. I love that.
He's the burnout kid who you think is like a prick that's like, you know, destroying shit. But then you take a step back and it's like, oh no, he wasn't tagging. He was doing art. He was doing
man.
Art.
Yeah, you get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm #1 simp. I get it. You don't gotta worry about me. Brother, I got the OPO1 alt art Law right over here, right out of reach.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Also, some other great panels I love here. The both the frozen faces and then the I want to devour you faces of Luffy's crew when they realize, hey, they got some warm clothes over there.
Yeah, I love that
So
panel.
good.
Look at those
And
nice warm clothes.
Brooke's appearance panel, the one he gets, like, it's like a quarter of the page, back on page 8. So cool, dude. Like, it's very like OG Thriller Bark. Like, I'm a menace, brother. I'm a goddamn menace.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
Brooke's
shading on the
cool here.
face looks so good.
It's so good. Humming swordsman, who? Me, brother. Me.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do see this character called the Boss, but we've actually seen this character previously. Evan, do you have any idea who this character is?
Oh, it's the Three Beards.
Oh, hey.
Wait, it's Brownbeard, right?
It is, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so we don't actually get him referred to as Brownbeard, but this is the guy that Hawkins ran into before the time skip. There was a confrontation in the New World where Hawkins ran into this guy who was trying to claim Whitebeard's territory, and he was going around saying, "Oh, he's Brownbeard." So yeah, this is the guy that Hawkins had fought previously, and now we're running into him here with the Straw Hats.
He's got the gator legs.
Yeah.
Also, wait, he has 80 mil? That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, so he's got a little bit of power here, it seems.
Guess so. No, bounties don't mean shit. We learned that early in One Piece. Bounties don't mean shit.
It does say he's a former pirate,
Yep.
so maybe he
How
has.
do the tariffs affect the bounties in One Piece?
That's the extra 60,000.
Yeah, these are also
and
the pre-tax
I can't make
amount.
the next joke. Wait, I can't make the next joke. Fuck.
Then we also do have before Brooke saves their butts here. Zoro gets bitten by a shark. So we did mention that Usopp has like a Batman utility belt, but he didn't bring the shark repellent. That would have been helpful to have here. So.
Nice. Speaking back to Brooke, though, I just love the fact he says, "Who the hell are you?" And he's like, "My name is not important. It's Brooke."
Yeah.
He's a good boy. He's
That
a
got
good
me.
boy.
It's cracking. I love him. He's so dramatic. It's great.
Yeah, that was great. All right. You guys got anything else on this one?
Real quick. At this point, who do you think is in whose bodies right now?
Oh, that's a question for Evan.
Oh yeah, sorry. I in my head I said Evan.
Nami. Sanji's in Nami's body. Chopper's in Sanji's body. Nami is in Frankie's body, and Frankie is in Chopper's body.
That's a good guess. Too bad
think
you're
he's got
fucking
it.
wrong. Joe, why'd you undercut my joke?
They're actually
Hate
nobody
this.
switched. They're on their original bodies.
Hate this. Also, do we think Smoker? We got this like nice panel on page 17 where Smoker kind of hits it with that big jab he tries to go for, right? Very, very gum pistol, very, very pistol panel-esque, with the layout and the form.
Which page was this?
On page 17.
Oh, okay. So the one where he goes,
goes
"Is that
zip.
right?"
Goes
And then he
grease.
goes- Okay. Yep. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's got.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It feels very like OG. Like it literally looks like it's framed similar to when Luffy punches the Sea King. In like OG.
yeah.
I see that. Yeah.
I feel like we talked about in previous podcasts about people maybe taking inspiration from Luffy's attacks after having fought him. With,
No one has
some
ever done
people-
that ever. What do you mean? God, what a dumb prediction.
Well,
Actually-
particularly Gatling. I feel like we've seen a lot of people that do like an overwhelming barrage of fists sort of attack.
Which I think we'll get in the next chapter too. Actually, now that you mentioned it.
Spoilers. Hey,
Yeah.
chill.
Yeah, this guy thinks he knows everything.
My
Come on.
bad.
Get back on track. Let's get back on track here.
I do really like the fight sequence. I think it's a really cool fight, and the way that we see Smoker and Law with their fighting styles. So again, Smoker is more familiar with Law's abilities than maybe most of the other people.
Mhm.
So it is cool to see Law trying to fight in a way that is difficult for Law to deal with as well. So I think it's a really cool start to the fight, and I'm excited to see more of that in the next chapter.
I hope the Shige's okay.
Oh, she's dead.
Yeah, she's fucked.
No.
If you learned anything, you've learned that when Law cuts someone, they die. Come on, dude.
All right. Then how about
life?
All right. How about we wrap up by moving on to the next part of the cover story
Read it for me.
the
Read it for me,
chapter.
please.
We have Decks of the World Volume 43, Impel Down,
That's
New
not it.
Jailer Beast, Mino Chihuahua. Mino Chihuahua is added to today's collection of Jailer Beasts.
Yeah,
who do we think that is on his little noose there?
God.
And more importantly, what's he listening to in those headphones?
Well,
Are you
he
saying
does
the
have
new
little
headphones?
headphones. He
What's up?
does.
Yeah, he's got headphones on.
Around his neck.
Chihuahua.
Around his neck.
Oh, Mino Chihuahua. I thought you meant the
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
the guy hanging from
I
the.
didn't even catch that.
Sorry. I couldn't get more grammatical context. My bad.
We all know he's listening to Soul King's hot new track. So, Bone to Be Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
What does the fox say?
Okay. Interesting choice.
Now, like legit, I was actually listening to the song like a few weeks ago, and I forgot how good it was. That song is so good.
I went and listened to the one. No, without spoiling, there was obviously a reference to a track recently in the manga. I was like, which one is this? And I was like, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do see there's a new addition to the Jailer Beasts. We don't know their abilities, but pretty brutal. It looks like they're just carrying around with a skeleton on the noose. But
Yeah,
I have no
their
guess
ability is just
this
that
could be.
they're the animal, right? Are is it like these are like the first awakens we know about? They're all awakened Zoans, allegedly.
Yeah, that's what Crocodile said. He said that they're awakened Zoan types. We don't know what that means. But yeah, he did imply that these are devil fruit users.
I've always thought, and obviously it's different because we know our boys built different, and I can't talk about my other theory because it's future spoilers. But it's interesting. Like these guys kind of remind me of Chopper's Monster Point, but just like a little more consciousness, I guess is the best way of putting it. Like the OG one, where he just like rages and he's just like this vast, giant, deadly animal. But they have like a little. I don't know whether it's like they have more consciousness or Sadie's just really good at giving them orders. But that was always a connection I always kind of came to with their brutality, I guess.
Could be.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Maybe they got stuck in like a monster point.
That's what I'm wondering, right? Like, is there like a way, like is there a world where like Pell can just get stuck as like a feral hawk or something, you know?
Are they animorphs?
Oh, fuck, dude.
Oh.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole. Mainly because I think the audience won't get the references.
If you're not a 90s kid, look up Animorphs. They have like some of the coolest covers. But yeah, if you know what that is, and that was an awesome reference.
Classic.
All right, let's wrap up with chapter 662, Warlord Law versus Vice Admiral Smoker.
Oh, he finally said it.
Feeling ashamed,
Hell yeah.
Tashigi begs Law to finish her off. Law clearly states that the weak do not have the right to choose how they die. The Navy is helpless against Law, unable to stop his powers. As he begins to slash towards Tashigi, Smoker charges in and blocks the blade. Luffy's group stole some coats and are now riding on the boss. Back at the facility, the Master receives a report that Smoker is on the island and they saw the kids. This is worst case scenario, as even if they kill Smoker, the Navy will realize something is wrong. The bird woman, Monet, reports to the Master that Vegapunk's dragon has been defeated and Brownbeard's centaur team have been wiped out. She looked into the intruders and found out that they are the Straw Hats. As Smoker and Law continue their battle outside, Smoker figures it must be someone else behind what's going on here. Law catches Smoker off guard, removing his heart from his body. Luffy's group arrives at the facility, and he's happy to see a familiar face.
Brutal.
Yeah. The fight choreo in this chapter is crazy.
Yes.
I don't where do we want to start? Like, where do we want to start on this? Like, there's just so much.
So much.
Actually, I
I
don't know.
can't picture this being the end of Smoker. He's been such a crucial character. I can't picture him being dead.
Well, he
I
did
can't
just lose his
imagine.
heart.
Yeah, and like his anatomical heart. Like in the previous chapter, we saw him like swap hearts, but we had like a cute iconic heart, and everyone's still alive and happy. But here it's like, he takes like his literal heart out of his chest, and he collapses.
Yeah, he's buckled. He's down.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You need
And,
that.
and more importantly, Law's
important part.
walking with his back to him. Like, Law is the most precise fighter we probably have in this. Like, even some of the other ones have an ego where they'll like fuck with you by turning around, but like he's just straight up like, nah, I'm done.
He's like, I won.
Yeah. Bro's like, I gotta throw this in the fridge with the rest of my
GG,
hearts.
Nori.
I'm taking my ball. I'm going home.
One thing that I love in this one, I don't know why it's always stood out to me, is there's this panel of Law on page 9 at the top between the smoker hits and the Shigen ran away, where he's got this like really interesting form, like the sword over his back and then the hand out. I feel like we don't see that pose from him like ever again, or like not anything noticeable. It feels like very Dragon Ball. Like, it feels like Trunks.
Yeah.
For some reason, like future Trunks.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is like supposed to be an homage or something, but like it's just such a different like combat form that we've seen from him, and that I don't know why. Like it's just so interesting to me.
It does seem like the subtle hand movements is part of his MO.
Yeah, and he's not goading him because he's not like that. Like he's not goading him. Like he's doing this very intentionally to block or counter or dodge these fists coming in. But yeah, it just feels like a completely different martial arts style.
I wonder if it has to do with him operating the room. If it's him prepping something.
Maybe it's a cutaway. That's something that makes it complicated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But so I want to touch on what you said just now and what you said in the previous chapter, is that it is the precision for Law.
Yeah.
It is the way he fights. And that's also what makes Scalpel such a sick ending, because it is just a quick, it's over. Just against Smoker, just the teeniest blow, it's over. He just had to get him in the right place, the right time, get the vantage point that Smoker couldn't see. So cool.
Yeah, that's like a real cool way, the way that Oda depicts that and how it plays out, where like he is able to hide behind this rock that he puts in the way, and then he's able to catch Smoker off guard by going like essentially through the rock to reach his heart. So Smoker doesn't even see it coming. So yeah, I think it was like just a really cool way it plays out.
There's so many great moments
contrast
with
the
that.
page before by Smoker breaking the entire rock in half, but all Law has to do is poke one hole.
Yeah, there's like overwhelming might versus this like very like sharp point, essentially.
Yeah.
There's such great moments like that too, like the bullets getting like thrown back at them. It's not in here. I realize this is an anime only thing, but I think it is a good addition. We have one of those moments in the anime for this scene where he flicks a rock at him and he swaps with the rock, which is like which is like such like once you get into deep like One Piece, such quintessential Law of like, I'm not strong enough to get momentum, but if I can use my brain, I can get the force I need for this hit, which is like just so cool, especially in a world where like I love Oda so much. I love One Piece. Oda does not design the best fights. They are, compared to a lot of other fights in manga and anime, they are not the most deathful. They usually just end with one dude is Dragon Ball style, just yelling and punching and wanting to do it harder, But that's another reason I love Law, because Law is one of the few times where I'm like, you're cooking. You're really trying here. Like, you're thinking about physics, you're thinking about body placement. There's a lot of very, very precision, a lot of precision elements that go into Law's fights typically. And this is just like such a haymaker of a return for the character.
This really made me realize just like how aware he has to have of what his surroundings are in general and where everything in his surroundings are. Like when he didn't he shambles, it looked like a dresser or a door or something to get out of a blow.
And
to me, it's
like a
just-
substitution jutsu type thing.
Yeah, which is like kind of like I can't even think of, I'm not sure where it is, but it's like you got turned around and moved around how many fucking times, and you're just like, it's right here, boom, got it.
Yeah, he is with Smoker, which by the way, I think this is the first time I see Smoker use hockey. He doesn't use it in Marineford, right?
I'm not sure.
So
Because
why
at
did we
that
get him
point-
here using armament, and then he's just like, oh, I'll swap out, fuck me.
Yeah, because at that point, like in Marineford, they weren't like doing the visual representation of the armament hockey. So like before, we weren't really seeing if people were using hockey. Like they did like this weird thing where like the admirals like kind of put their hands up in the air and do like a spirit bomb type thing and stop like one of Whitebeard's attacks. which
Yeah.
we presume that was like hockey.
Yeah, obviously Luffy.
Yeah. But yeah, now we see a more like visual representation of hockey going forward. But yeah, like there was this panel here where we see like where Smoker grabs Law by the throat, throws him on the ground, and then that's where we see with the crunch, Law swaps himself out with like a piece of like wood or something, and then he shows up behind Smoker, and then Smoker like deflects like the attack. But then we also see on like the following page, there's like another sequence where I was referencing that Smoker was doing a Gundam Gatling type thing where we see like multiple fists punching. So it looks like he's also kind of like referencing Luffy's move here, like Evan was kind of saying.
Yeah, this part's great. I also love shout out to my homie in the bottom right of that same page, or opposite page 8, where he's just high floating Casper the Ghost into the air. He's like, yeah, I don't got feet anymore. Fuck it. Let's go. Like he's having some fun with it, you know? He's like, oh, I'm gonna make the best of that situation. Also, is this the first time we see the boss with a face?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is scary. This is a great design.
Creepy.
Oh, yeah, the master.
Or the master, sorry.
Yeah, because we had a boss and a master, so there's two different like.
Yeah, boss is brown beard. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, he's like, oh, like we don't want the Navy to see these kids. So it doesn't seem like he's up to like something good here. Yeah, so this kind of gives like a little bit more context to the type of character that we're dealing with here.
And finally, Bird Woman confirmed. Monet is here.
It does say Bird Woman.
Page.
It does say Bird Woman, Harpy.
Harpy. Do you guys have a baddie ranking list on this podcast? Do you have a podcast on the podcast? Because god damn, does Monet go high. Like Monet is pretty fucking hot, dude.
Yeah, usually this is Sean's department.
What I'm
oh, great! So I am bringing the energy. Happy to supply. Yeah. I mean, listen.
She's up there.
When she's flying through the air, those physics gotta be crazy, dude. That's all I gotta say.
But yeah, it seems like her arms are actual wings, and she's holding the paper with her wings. So it's not like she has like hands at the end. Like she
great big spoon.
Yeah.
Her chest has to be so strong if she's flapping her wings like that. Holy shit! I'm just saying. I you know, something about a strong woman. You know, bird woman.
She's also quite big. For like, you know, like we know she has like the augmented body, you know, we don't know like whether it's a fruit, we don't know like whether it's like, you know, what's going on with a lot of these people on the island. But like even her torso, like she was a pretty tall person, it seems like, based on just her torso. I just think there's a lot of just interesting character designs going on with who we're seeing on this island, which is what I really like. I like the expression, especially coming off of Fishman, where it's like relatively samey, you know, like they're all unique, but they're all kind of like, okay, well, it's a tail or a fin body and then features. Whereas like now we're getting like some like really like cool expressive shit here that I think it's like really interesting to look at.
It feels like anything goes kind of deal.
Yeah.
Harpies, centaurs, dragons.
Oh my.
Oh my.
And Mugiwara.
Speaking of dragons, we get a name drop of Vegapunk. Vegapunk's dragon. So that's an interesting wrinkle here as well. But yeah, Monet's a person that does the research, and she's like, "Oh, this is the strike crew that we're dealing with." So look at them, and then like, yeah, we see this the master guy is like the Strat Pirates. Like he doesn't seem to really be familiar with them.
Yeah, I know. This is like a little early, and it's funny because we started this podcast when we talking about Robin, but Monet, big Robin energy for me, like big OG Miss All Sunday energy with the scene. Like, you know, they're in this secret fortress. They're kind of like conniving. There's like an air of like, I have control. I'm playing some chess right now. Hot. Like, yeah, very similar.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I do kind of feel like the face is pretty similar to Robin, actually.
Yeah, there's this level of like, she's locked in, but she doesn't have to try that hard, you know? But you know she's thinking, like, you know, like she's calculating right now.
Yeah.
I think it's also interesting eye design too, because Robin also had like, I don't think her eyes get drawn the same as they did before, but
No,
there
they
was
don't.
like,
You're right.
yeah, I think there's that too.
Yeah, that piercingness of like, I don't know if it's part of whatever she is now or she's always had that, but she had like those piercing like bird eyes.
Yeah.
Also, shout out the best taxi in the world, Brownbeard. Really carrying the crew in this chapter. He'll get you to LAX and back in 30 minutes.
That's good service.
Great service.
Like that's classic Luffy's fighting somebody, befriends them, and then he rides them to somewhere.
Or submits them to their to his will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Question for the group here. So we get like the instance, right, of like Smoker like really like disassembling his body to like do like a bunch of hits, whether it's like a bunch of punches. We have like the really good page on like 16 where, you know, you can see like his foot's coming one way, his head and arms coming another. Do you think that Law can only move like things that are solids? Because it's interesting. He's like gaseous, but he can't. He like you would think like, oh, I'll just remove him to another position, right? Especially where he knows like where the head is. He's like, oh, I'll move the feet away and take on the head, or I'll move the club, right? I'm assuming that must be what it is. But I think it's interesting that it's like, okay, so here's a limit we're introduced to, right? Where like the second that he's in like full gaseous form, he can't really do too much with his power. And you'll notice like he doesn't take the heart until he's fully materialized again and goes with the strike.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. Because he has a legitimate fight against Smoker, so it's like, it seems like there must be some kind of limitation to Law's ability where he isn't able to directly interact with Smoker like in that state. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that's a good point. And we also don't know like, could he move like water? Like is like the water like, because we see him like swap like the snow, but that's like more of like a physical state. Whereas like the water itself, like he's not like pulling up the water as well. And like
he just drown him.
Yeah.
Yeah, seawater. He could also
splash water over a Smoker, like seawater on him. I don't know.
Or like even like, oh, why like, you know, when he comes at me with, I mean, ooh, this is interesting. So like, let's just play pretend here for a second, right? Smoker, part of his ability is that he can like disassemble his body in the smoke and then reform it together. If Law cuts the smoke, can Smoker reform himself? Or is he also abide by the rules of like, oh, I'm kind of in pieces right now?
Yeah, this is where it gets like a little like ambiguous, I think, because even if like let's say Law uses hockey, like it's like hard to tell if he can actually cut Smoker in that state. Because normally you can hit Logia type people with hockey. So yeah, I think it's odd because like he's not able to really directly interact with him in that condition.
It's so cool.
But yeah.
Speaking of hockey, real quick, end of last chapter, it is alluded to that Law's powers can be resisted with armament. Because when Tashiki goes in to rush toward Law, so it says, no, Tashiki, your hockey can't handle this right before she gets cut.
That's a good point. Yeah, so
which like isn't like armament, but I think we normally see armament with Logia, so this was just really interesting to me when this came up and something I hadn't thought before.
Yeah, but it's like it could be like your defensive like hockey like ability
right.
wouldn't be able to like yours isn't strong enough to block his devil fruit.
Right.
I didn't realize that was a line. That's really interesting.
I would like
to once again point out power scaling is out the window, boys. We're just doing cool shit. We're just doing cool shit now.
That's the way it should be.
No, of course. Yeah, I'm not hating. I'm not hating. But it's good to remember. Expectations, you know? Hey, it's all cool shit. Literally. Also, the heart in the box looks sick.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So we see how Law has been able to take 100 pirate hearts. So I'm sure it was just like this.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting like follow-up, like using that a few chapters ago. Oh, he took up 100 hearts. And like, if you're read up, you know, history, you know, culture, you go, oh, okay. It's proof of death. Like, it's not like a literal heart that's like a heart. It's like proof of death is what they mean. Or he brought the hearts as proof of death. And then the fact is two chapters later, the thing he warned them about just happens to him is such good foreshadowing.
We see it was literally he took the hearts. But
yeah, it's so cool. Because you're like, wow, he murdered a bunch of people. That never happens in this show. You're like, oh, I guess he didn't really murder them.
Yeah, and then we end the chapter on this note where Luffy arrives to see Law fighting Smoker, and he seems happy to see Law. He's like, "Oh, hey, you're the guy that helped me out before."
Bless his heart. Bless his soul.
Now, hold on. Is he reacting to Law or is he reacting to Smoker? We don't know. Maybe he's excited to see Smoker.
By the way, wholesome boy.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. He loves Smoker. He thinks he's fun.
But I think okay. So in my defense, it looks like we see him approaching, and then the Law is one standing up. So I don't know if he even knows Smoker's there.
That's fair. I'm just,
Yeah,
I just ship them.
Yeah. He's like, oh, hey, you're and then we don't see the next part, but yeah, that's where we leave it.
Let's go.
Right.
What a great goddamn chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at this point, do you guys have any final thoughts for the chapter or this part of the volume so far? Like,
Y'all getting me hyped on Law.
Yeah.
As you should
yeah.
be.
Yeah.
As you should be, brother. Welcome to the clan. The clan of Law. You can pick up your fuzzy hat and your coat at the door. No, this chapter is super great. I think, we talk a lot about, like, I like to compare arcs as the way that Oda kind of like bounces off rebound storytelling. And I think like opening this arc with things that are very visceral, very like heady, whether it's like the combat or why the island is designed like this, why art designs are a certain way, why characters design a certain way, like with these animal amalgamations, right? It's such like a gear shift coming off of like Fishman Island, where things are like pretty like cut and dry. They're pretty like what you expect from going to Fishman Island underwater. And I think what it really does is that it teaches you that the new world is an unpredictable monster. And the people in there, like Rayleigh, like everyone has told them beforehand, are also monsters. And that we're not joking around when we say that. And I think it's just really, really cool. And like all this is happening, like, again, we're throwing a ship in the air. One of the most, aggressive and powerful Navy people we know about lost his heart. We've got a warlord from Luffy's generation. We've got a samurai of Wano, which we don't know like a lot about, but we know that that's like red flag. Don't want to fight that. Like we do know that much from Thriller Bark. And also, they're not the bad guy. The bad guy hasn't done anything yet. Like that is such a banger opening, and it's basically the prelude. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
But the bad guy's just going, yes, okay, this is all happening. Yes. Like, cool.
Yeah, agreed. How about you, Evan?
I'm hyped. I'll have to see how this mystery unfolds. And it's been a great introduction to Law. Not introduction. I've known Law, but I feel like this is the first time really getting to see him in action. So
reintroduction.
A reintroduction, yeah. So yeah, I'm hyped for what's to come.
Yeah, for sure. Cody.
I mean, much like Mike, big Law simp, Law fanboy. This arc's gonna be very interesting to me for two reasons. One, because Law is just my favorite character in anything ever, and I'm excited to re-examine him. But also, I think I mentioned this last episode, we're coming up on the my first break in One Piece from like being like a weekly reader and like just like not being involved with the series. So getting to really get back into it chapter by chapter, I think this is going to be a place where I get a really, really new appreciation for a part of the story that I didn't get to experience in the most in-depth way. So I'm very excited for Oda to humble me a little bit over these next couple of volumes. I'm really hyped for that.
Yeah, definitely some exciting stuff happening here. Also, I just realized why they're called the Heart Pirates is probably because he's taking all these hearts. But
that's why.
Dr. Heart
Checks out.
He did it, guys. He figured it out. Definitely why they're called the Heart Pirates.
But yeah, I also did mention recently on the podcast that I got caught up to One Piece and became a weekly reader during Fishman Island. So this is around the area where I started reading from week to week. And,
nice.
Yeah, so for my experience, like this is like my third time through the series as well. But I always like enjoy coming back to the series and experiencing it in a different way. But Punk Hazard is one I'm very excited about, and there's a lot of fun stuff happening here. A lot of mysteries we talked about, a lot of setup being done here. Seeing the way that the world's changed after the time skip, we're kind of playing catch up in a ways, and it's fun to see like little moments be revealed here. So like Law being one of the Warlords was a great reveal for that. Punk Hazard being formed like this way because of the fight between Aki Inu and Kuzan. And then like this whole mystery with like the children, like what's going on with them, and this master type character. Yeah, and now like the complication that I think is gonna be really fun is with law swapping some of the strats personalities with their bodies. Which like with the most recent release of the set in the card game, Punk Hazard is one of the themes. So we've got some of the characters where they're swapped, so it's a little confusing for people referring to like the Nami art as Sanji, but yeah. So yeah, it's just like it's a fun element, and I'm excited to have that play out. And there's a lot of things to look forward to in the arc, and like this is I think this is just like a fun arc to reintroduce like the strats to the world and to like this part of the Grand Line, the new world. So we're gonna see things get a little crazy from here. So I think this is just like a fun way to get the audience on board. All right. Well, that will conclude this week's episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. You can find this episode wherever podcasts are found at We're Reading One Piece podcast.buzzsprout.com or on the YouTube channel at We're Reading One Piece. This is a spoiler-free channel up to where we record the podcast. If you're new to the series, you can visit the channel there. You can also find me and this podcast on my YouTube channel at Pirate King Codex for more One Piece content. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, you can reach us at wereadingonepiece@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from listeners, so if you're enjoying the show, or if you have any suggestions on how we can make it better, let us know. Next episode, we'll be finishing Volume 67, Cool Fight. I've been Joel, and I've been joined by Sean. Had to leave us a little earlier. Also, Evan.
Thanks for listening.
Cody.
Best boys back. Best boys back.
And Mike.
Yo!
All right. Well, be sure to bring along all the hopes and dreams, and we'll see you on the next episode.